What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Overwatch Weekly. I know this one's a little bit late. And by a little bit late, I mean an entire day late. I talked about this in the Chengdu Hunters video that I did, that it would be going up late because I was out of town for the holidays and I wasn't able to record it until I came back Wednesday night, which is when I am recording this now. And I meant to mention it in the Guangzhou Charge video, and I forgot to, and then that went up late as well. So, upload schedule is a little bit out of whack the past couple days, but it should be back to normal come tomorrow with the next Overwatch League fan thoughts and analysis video. But let's not talk about that. Let's get into the Overwatch Weekly, because that is what we are here for today. The first thing is that if you log on to Overwatch anytime between now, and this actually started 2 days before Christmas, this started December 23rd, anytime between December 23rd and January 2nd, which is when the Winter Wonderland event ends, you will get 5 free loot boxes for the Winter Wonderland event. So this is on top of the loot box you get just for starting up the event. For the first time you get a loot box. So now, until January 2nd, you get 5 free loot boxes. So get on before then if you want to get these 5 free loot boxes. I opened mine, I got 1 legendary skin, which I guess has an awful, 20% legendary skin rate. Not too bad. But that's probably the biggest thing right now in-game over this past week. There wasn't a lot of news with the holidays and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure a lot of Blizzard's employees were out of town. From Blizzard or went home, whatever, so not a lot of news, but there was a good amount of just holiday-related things or little things that came out over the past week. They were kind of small, so I'm just going to run over some of those. The first thing was a little behind-the-scenes video for Cookie Watch, which was that video that they put up last week. I talked about it in last week's Overwatch Weekly. It was just a little video about Tracer and Reaper going over this whole cookie fight thing. So that went up yesterday, so if you want to check that out, it'll be linked in the description. There's also a little Twitter video that they did with an artist by the name of Kim Jong-gi, and he did a little drawing. It's a 2-minute video on their Twitter account. Also, there's a little thing on their website. But it's just a holiday drawing that he did with Diva stuff going on there and some other cool things there. It's a little Happy Holidays thing. You can check that out in the description as well. It's pretty cool. It's mostly Diva related. Her giving some gifts to Torbjorn, to Reinhardt, McCree, Lucio, Tracer. It's a pretty cool little artwork piece they did. So that's something you can check out down below. Next, there was the annual Yule Log stream. They did one last year. This year's is 8 hours long. As is, I don't know if that's how long last year's was, but this one's about 8 hours long. Of course, you have Jeff Kaplan shows up. But he's not the only person this year. I won't spoil, but he's got some friends on the Yule Log stream this year. I don't know why anyone would ever want to do the Yule Log stream, because it's basically just sitting in a chair for an hour or two and then leaving. That's most of what the people do for this stream, but I guess it could be kind of fun and enjoyable and funny in a way, so it's whatever. But check it out if you want to just kind of skip through and see who shows up. You can always do that. The next thing is that there was a little stream that they did not too long ago. I believe the stream was last week. Actually, I think it was actually more than a week ago. It was on the Penny Arcade Twitch channel, but they tweeted about it. They basically did a stream where they create like Overwatch heroes with Twitch viewers. So there was 4 different things that they drew. One was a rhino, or like a Triceratops tank thing with these 2 Triceratops shields, and there were some other cool little things that they made. They were pretty cool. So if you want to check that out, of course, it's in the description. But yeah, it was with Gabe from Penny Arcade and Arnold Sang from Overwatch, creating concept art for heroes based on what Twitch viewers recommended. And the final thing is just a little tweet that they made for the holidays with some of the fan-made creations and whatnot. There's also one from the Overwatch League with a bunch of different people, Jeff Kaplan and some of the casters and the personalities, also having some holiday wishes. So those are all the kind of holiday things that they had this past week. And that was the majority of what we got in Overwatch related stuff this past week. But there was one Overwatch League related thing that is not holiday related. It's actually pretty much the exact opposite of holiday related, because it's not a great thing for most people involved. It is the 2019 Player Discipline Tracker. So obviously, earlier I'd been doing the just player tracker where I talked about players getting signed to teams and what that meant for a lot of these teams. Now we have the Player Discipline Tracker. So this will be updated throughout the season, so I'll link it in the description of these videos, as well as any other Overwatch League related videos where I talk about this kind of stuff. But I'll read you the paragraph things that they have here, little notes here, and then I'll read you the different suspensions and fines and whatnot. So it says, throughout the 2019 season, we will maintain a list of players who are disciplined for infractions of the Overwatch League rules of competition and code of conduct, to which it links out to those rules. As players join the Overwatch League, the League office conducts a full review of their conduct and, where appropriate, takes disciplinary action. While the League reviews each case on its own, key factors informing the level of discipline include both the severity and recency of the actions under review. During the season, the League office will continue to evaluate infractions and take action as needed. The following list does not include players who are not currently under contract with an Overwatch League team, but might face suspension or fines should they return to League play. In addition, players who have previously served penalties while playing contenders are generally not subject to further discipline upon joining the Overwatch League. So just a couple notes there on some of the discipline rules, of course. So let's go over some of the fines and suspensions and whatnot. There are 7 of them. The first one comes from Apply, the Florida Mayhem, who is suspended 2 games for account boosting. Color Hex of the Boston Uprising, suspended 2 games for account boosting. Crystal of the Hangzhou Spark is suspended 1 game for account boosting. Neko of the Toronto Defiant is suspended 3 games for selling an account and obstructing League office investigation, which is interesting. Reapa of the LA Gladiators suspended 5 games for throwing matches and toxicity. Rise of the Guangzhou Charge fined $1,000 for account sharing. And Violet of the San Francisco Shock suspended 2 games for account boosting. So obviously the most common infraction here is account boosting, to which 2 games seems like the typical. I'm curious as to why Crystal's only 1 game. Maybe his was a while ago, so he only got 1 game. That's the only thing I can really think of, because obviously they said that in the thing, key factors informing the level of discipline include both the severity and recency of the actions under review. So maybe it was a while ago, or maybe it was like he did it and then was like, I should not do this. I don't know. I don't know why he only had 1 game while some of the other people had 2. I'd say 1 game and 2 games isn't that bad, but he's something like 5 games with Reaper. I mean, I don't expect Reaper to play a lot anyway. That's, you know, a story for another day. But when you see stuff like this with a shorter season, it's not as bad anymore. You know, that 1 game, 2 game thing, it's not as bad, of course, if it's a 1-2 game. But a 5 game with a much shorter season is really, really bad. And that, I think, is what they really were trying to do. Was say, look, here's what we need to make sure we've covered. And yeah, I think they've made that very clear that is exactly what they're doing. They're trying to keep players from doing things that they're not supposed to in their rules. I just think it's interesting because we saw some players, you know, last year with these huge. They were fined or suspended for really long periods of time. Like Sato was suspended for a while, and I think his was account boosting. I'll double check to make sure. But there was a lot of different people that did things that got them suspended. Yeah, Sato suspended for 30 games for account boosting. Now, I don't know how long he was account boosting for and how severe it was compared to some of these other ones, but it seems very interesting that account boosting is the most common infraction, and there's a 1 game suspension, and there were 2 game suspensions, and then there was a 30 game suspension last season, which is insane. So that's interesting to see. A player like Apply, or a player like I think Apply's the only here that's a 2-way player. That doesn't really affect him that much because he's a 2-way player. For the Boston Uprising, that's huge. But we'll get more into that in videos of my own later on down the road. For now, that is everything I have for you. So if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it, leave a like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. Lets me know what kind of content you guys want to keep seeing. But I'm going to end this video off here. Thank you for watching. Hope you all had a very happy holidays, and I hope you have a great new year, and I will see you all in the next video, which will be tomorrow. Alright. Adios.
Bob.